Well, I told you it was coming, and little did you guys know that it was going to come this soon. You know, apart from the fact that everyone has been on to me for weeks to have a look at this. And you know what? I'm sure it's rightfully so, because the fact of the matter is, we've looked at Ateez twice now, right? And both times they've absolutely blown me away. So I'm really excited to dive into their Killing Voice video and really, you know, have a look at a majority of, well, not a majority, but have a look at a medley of their stuff to get a good grasp on what they do as a whole. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people tend to be of the opinion, and I'm sure this is correct, that they like to release as much variation of stuff as possible, and that's exciting to me. I've spoken about it before. A lot of these kind of bigger K-pop groups are doing a multitude of different things within their like little community. In terms of, I say little community, and people are going to be like, it's not a little community. I'm aware. I'm very well aware it was an irony statement, but I keep going back to this example of like boy bands of the 90s, right? Where they were all doing the exact same music, and then one of them would want to pair off, or not pair off, but like break away from that group and released an album of completely new stuff that they wanted to do. And it would usually flop because their audience that went, oh, I'll have a look at this, were listening to music that wasn't specifically for them. At least in these sorts of cases, with these bands, they're releasing different styles of music, and, you know, you're not really sure what to expect genre-wise from them. So therefore, when you do go over and have a listen to solo stuff, people are already prepared for different things. So I like it. I like that music is taking this turn, but we are in for a relatively long one, and I've decided to get into comfortable clothing, because, again, this video itself is going to be 26 minutes, and I tend to stop things, and you can't stop me from doing so. And I have a full can of Pepsi here that that sound is going to be really annoying in the sound when I edit this, I'm sure, to last me the entirety of it so that I can wet my whistle so that I don't get dehydrated, like my vocal cords don't get dehydrated as we're going through this. But I'm just going to shut up now. Before we begin, please do leave a like on the video. It really does help. If you have not subscribed, I'd highly appreciate it if you did so, and there's more ways you can help the channel at the end if you like what we do. So, without any further ado, let's have a listen to Ateez and their Killing Voice video. Make sure the volume is all the way up. It is still quiet.
What's up? What's up?
네.
딩고 what's up? What's
네.
up?
자, 인사부터 드리겠습니다. 둘, 셋.
헬멧소 팀 안녕하세요. 에이티즈입니다.
We got English captions. We
네, 저희
might.
에이티즈가 드디어 킬링 보이스에
Nope, they're generating in Korean, and that's not going to help me. Okay, so just so people know, I do have the captions on. They are translating to English, so it's the Google Auto Translate, so they're probably not going to be entirely accurate.
네, 나오게 되었는데요.
Let's continue on.
오늘 재밌는 곡들과 또 신곡까지 준비를 했으니까 기대 많이 해주시고, 저희 노래를 모르시는 분들도 듣고 좋으시다면 플레이리스트에 넣어주시고, 또 아시는 분들이 있다면 즐겁게 즐겨주시면 감사하겠습니다. 그럼 시작해보겠습니다. Let's go.
Can I just point out too, I really like that these groups really embrace that everybody has a different style. And you can see that from this sort of, like, just this still here. Everyone has a different style and they lean into it. I like it. You know, it's not a uniform thing, it's good. I like it.
Let's go. yeah, someone try to follow us. Relationship begun, how to go, know where we go. Don't care about that, we're fashion like that. On this, put the chest, put the down.
Damn! Okay, straight off the bat here, hang on a second, let's go back here. Listen to the phrasing of this. This is wonderful. Oh, not in a million years. Not in a million years would I ever be able to do something like that. I don't rap. In fact, if I do, it just shows how white I am. And it's awful. But that is awesome. Also, can I just appreciate and bring up the vocal tone of this gentleman as well? That kind of harshness that comes into his rap. It's definitely interesting. I like it. Nice harmony work there. Is this the belter? Is this the belter that I keep talking about? That I absolutely love what he does? I need to go back. Wow, hang on. I love it. The reason that I love that is when you're belting in at heights like that, it's difficult at times to maintain the control and to maintain that solidarity in the voice. And it takes a lot of practice to get up to a point where you are that smooth and able to control the way that he does. In fact, he was able to do an incredible run there in a full-blown belt, and there's not a lot of people that can do those efficiently. There's a lot of people that try. Believe me, there's a lot of people that try, but not a lot that do it to such proficiency. I love that.
성화야, 준비됐어? Okay.
Oh, that's another thing I'm going to be doing as well, just so people know, because I have a notorious knack in these Killing Voice videos to completely ignore the bottom left of the screen, which says the title of the bloody song. It's been a few times where, like, I've made stupid statements where people are like, "It's literally the title of the song." It's like, yes, so I am actually looking at that this time, and oh my god, this is so far really cool.
Sit back and relax, man. Don't you want a bad man? I got time, but it's not for you, bro. Don't you realize what I'm saying? Let's go. What you gonna do? Hey, let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 하면 리듬에만 턱은 드러난 머리 지건 없지 우릴 막아 모든 gonna let them time for the party.
I love harmonies. You guys that have watched my videos and frequented my videos know that I love harmonies, especially when they do stuff like that, where it is that almost rapped vocal. In this case, it's what we call a drone vocal, where a lot of people think that a drone is a bad thing. A drone is literally the same note sung over and over and over for the entirety of the line, basically, or not the entirety, but like an extended period of time. I actually loved that, where it's literally a drone and then harmony over the top. Let's go.
Hey, let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 하면 리듬에만 턱은 드러난 머리 지건 없지 우릴 막아 time for the party.
Wonderful.
우린 정기에 비켜봐 the spinning summer 결석던 모든 걸 불어내 멈추지 살 순 없어.
Wow.
microphone 볼륨 올려 sit back and relax everybody 느껴봐라 이게 우리 소리야. Come on everybody.
Oh.
Slow it down, make it bouncy. 지금부터 fly. 좀 다른 spicy. 청양고추 vibe. If you wanna know how, I can show you right now. 오래 만들지 bouncy. 우리부터 fly. Yeah, make it bouncy. 지금부터 fly. 좀 다른 spicy. 청양고추 vibe. If you wanna know how, I can show you right now.
고개져 bounce bounce 하늘 위로 fly fly.
Oh, I love that. That's really nice. That already, I can tell that these guys obviously cover a lot of different styles in their music, and it's really interesting to kind of have them laid out like this, because each song usually tends to be so different. It's really interesting as a person that doesn't know their stuff to kind of go, oh, hang on, like it keeps everything interesting for the entire 30 minutes. And me being incredibly ADHD ridden, sitting down for 26 minutes and 44 seconds doesn't happen very often, but in this particular case, because it's got that intrigue going, it's awesome. Also, I really want to point out something that they did there that I really liked was that kind of wall of sound where everybody was rapping that, well, kind of rapping, but speaking that same, the same lines, and it was literally the whole group. That I love that kind of wall of sound when people and bands want to get a point across and get a message across. It's awesome.
여덟
awesome.
소년의 첫 항해가 시작된 곡입니다. 에이티즈의 데뷔곡 Hierarchy. 즐겨주세요. Will you join us?
Beat me up, beat me up. 우린 요동치는 춤춰 every day.
You know what?
Ready, set.
Okay, sorry. I am just going to turn off the captions. Now, the reason being, there are enough captions here that I know what's going on, and the Google ones aren't picking up anyway a lot of the time. So there's no point.
이제 데뷔곡 Hierarchy. 즐겨주세요. Will you join us?
Beat me up, beat me up. 우린 요동치는 춤춰 every day. Ready, set, get ready, set. 점점 발을 굴려 아주 뜨겁게. 해가 떨어져도 go.
Yeah, bring to that party, get it. I feel like somebody will get it. 우주에 닿을 때까지 발을 들고 세. 아쉬운 피처 face 좀 다쳐라 지가라 패스. Yeah, 끝없이 향해 let it. Could be till the end.
이제 다시 돌려라.
There is something about that gentleman's tone when he raps that really impacts me, and I imagine it's not just me that that this effect happens on as well, because of that kind of gruff sound. And I see that he's got more bottles of water than the rest, and you know what, for that tone, I imagine that's why. But for me, so I'm not a person that's big into rap. I've said this before, and but when it comes to K-pop and K-pop groups, their rap tends to entice me far more than most of like Western rap. And sure, we have some standout things, like we have Eminem as one of the pinnacles of Western rap, right? And a whole bunch of like artists that came before him. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to the kind of K-pop scene, it entices me to actually listen, because for some reason, to me, it sounds like the rap itself, the skill that is involved in it, sounds far more impressive. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust my camera, because I've just adjusted myself, and now I'm kind of out of frame a little bit. It is nice having a robotic camera that will just do that for me. That's good. But again, something that entices me so much more about Korean rap is that it sounds far more impressive. And I don't know if it's just a case of my brain going, look, I don't know the language, and therefore I don't really know how it is to enunciate over it and to get those kind of all of the syllables of the words out the way that they do in comparison to English. I don't know if that's like a thing in my brain where it's like automatically it's more impressive in my head, but to my ear at least, it genuinely sounds like a much harder time rapping in Korean than it does in English. And also, do forgive me if I mention that they are singing in Korean and they're not at any point, because I've done this with BTS as well, and people have gone, oh, they're in Japanese, and I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. But, so do forgive me if I do that. I don't mean any disrespect by it. I just genuinely don't know. But that's the whole point of this channel, is education, right? So, then again, right, so we add, so you've got that layer of me not understanding the language and hearing it and it sounding far more impressive just based upon the language itself. But then you've also got the tone of this gentleman. I don't know how to describe it, but there's some times where a voice just grabs you. Like somebody will just start singing or rapping, or like they open their mouth to speak and you're enticed by that voice. For some reason, that is this for me. And it may just genuinely be that harsh tone that is so, I don't want to say unusual in this space, because I am hearing it more, but relatively unique. I really like it. That gentleman's control is just insane. Can you do that note, that line again? Like, look, and I know it's such a simple thing to stop that. Go! The way it's like, even I stuffed it up then. I mean, having said this, I'm sitting down and like not in an optimal position to actually sing. To go through all of this stuff and then get to this point in this kind of concert, and don't get me wrong, it's like 3 songs in, like let's say 3 half songs in, like to maintain that control go is and with such power is really interesting. What I'm actually looking for, and I'll tell you guys now, what I'm actually looking for is to see just the stamina of this gentleman going through this entire video. The mark of a good belter is to be able to do that and maintain that for an entire show without it becoming tired, without that voice becoming tired. And I'm sure he's going to be able to do it because there's such an incredible proficiency to the way that he sings. So I'm just interested to see just how much fatigue sets in for that voice, because singing like that automatically does tend to fatigue the voice more, and it does need a lot of stamina to keep that up for an entire show. So that's something that I'm looking for with him, and you know what, I feel like it's going to be fine, and I feel like I'm genuinely going to get that. Brilliant. Oh, damn. Hell yeah.
Running up 정상을 향해 turn it up.
내 생각만으로 자꾸 멈춰 함께 발을 맞춰 그곳으로 yeah 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 yeah
멈추지 않아 rush 세상을
So interesting.
결국에도 찾지 못한 곳으로 My treasure 이제 떠나자 저 곳으로 우릴 부르는 저 treasure 어서 떠나자 찾아 떠나자 savage, yeah yeah. 우리는 savage, yeah yeah. 지도와 savage. We're savage. 누구도 막지 못해 날 막는다면 no way. 저기 저 반짝이는 별을 줘. 손 잡아봐.
Really nice melodic choice there.
계속 우리 비추는 starlight. 지금 이 순간 난
시간이 됐어 이상은 몸을 오면 몸을 더 아동게 보는 데
우리 둘이라면 대충 준비됐지 Let's get it when you step bam
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. 우리는 savage, yeah, yeah. 지구의 세계. We're savage.
누구도 막지 못해 날 막는다면 no way.
자, 보물을 찾았으니 다 같이 건배해 볼까요? 앤서입니다.
Okay. All right. Before they move on, I loved that. Now the reason that it's taken me aback a little bit, right? Is because that one probably felt the most, dare I say, 90s boy band sort of sound. And I don't mean that to sound negative. I mean that because it genuinely is the closest thing that I can think of, right? The interesting thing to me is that when people think of K-pop a lot of the time, and this is the thing that I'm noticing, a lot of people have the blanket statement, I don't like K-pop. It's such a funny thing to say and to hear now that I've dived a little bit further into it, because it's like, no, K-pop encompasses such a huge, broad spectrum of things. And this is one of those songs that people think that all K-pop kind of is, and it's so incorrect. But even so, let's say that all K-pop was that style of music. That was, again, on another level. You've got all of these incredible vocalists, and that section that was there, that they were all singing in unison. I love stuff like that, because I harp on that I love harmonies, and I love hearing groups do harmonies. And that's all well and good, but there is also a moment where it's awesome to hear the entire group singing in unison, and you go, oh, these guys really are in this together. It's kind of that kind of feeling washing over you of, these guys get it. And I can only imagine that moment when they're all singing in unison in a live performance, how the crowd is reacting in that moment. Because it feels like not only would it be them singing, the crowd would automatically be singing as well. And that is truly like an awesome moment. Like, getting up on stage and having those moments, that's what you want. And it is awesome.
손을 펴 시선을 위로 세워 잘 두어 마주보며 세워 끝이 뭐 시작의 물을 뱉어내 기억해 밖에부터 함께 쓰면
Burn burn 타올라야지 더 계속해 부르지 펴 매일이 피날레 쇼 내일이 마치 end of the world 열기 죽이지마 oxygen fire 농원하면 푸른빛이 우니까
I'm going to say something, this is going to be a little controversial. Why is it? Because, and you know what, this coming from somebody that is very, very new to this style of music. Why is it the person that always dresses up to look as though they are the most quote-unquote nerdy, and I'm an absolute nerd. I'm an absolute nerd and geek, and I mean no disrespect by saying that. And they rap the hardest. Like, they go hard. Is that, like, am I the only one seeing this? Because it's unusual, and coming up from, like, I'm a 90s kid, I was born in 92. If you saw somebody dressed like this in school, they'd get bullied, right? Like, and they're always the kind of brainiac kid. The last thing you would ever expect to hear them do is rap that hard. So is this just a new thing that the kind of nerdy look is like the hardest rapper? Like, it's very interesting to me. I love it. I adore it.
Burn burn 타올라야지 더 계속해 부르지 펴 매일이 피날레 쇼 내일이 마치 end of the world 열기 죽이지마 oxygen fire 농원하면 푸른빛이 우니까 불타는 태양과 덮치던 밤보다 우리에겐 별게 아닌 걸 들어와 봐 we don't care 두려운 것도 anymore 누구도 손댈 수 없어 다들 듣고 찾아 건너야자 like a thunder 네 모든 걸 채워 저리듯이 모든 산을 머리 위로 세상 어디에서든
Oh my god. Sorry, his runs, the way that he does his runs, so proficient. And Biro. I don't know if that's the right word, and I'm sorry if I've just sworn at people. Da-da! The way that he does that, oh my god. It's so consistent, and it's great. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then to belt with that vibrato, that really even vibrato at the end there. Hang on. Yeah! It's brilliant. Nice. Brilliant.
내 이름이 뭐더라? 모두 여기로 높은 곳으로 함께라면 no down 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 손을 들어라 소리 질러라 터질 듯한 시작을 위해 저기 저 달빛을 부를 때 세상을 덮칠 듯 때문에 우리 손을 잡고 나아가 Yes sir 승부의 응답에 Say my name, say my name, say my name. Say my name, say my name, say my name.
People are going to be really upset with me. I've just realized this gentleman, and again, people are going to be so upset that I say this. I'm going to say it anyway. How I was saying before, that sometimes some people will just sing and they will grab you for good or for bad. And this particular gentleman grabs you for good, right? The other voice that I can think of, I'm preparing for all of the hate here. I'm just preparing my body for it. The male singer in the band Aqua from the 90s. You know, the come on Barbie, let's go party. That same harsh tone grabs you. And in his case, a positive way as well. It's a very unique thing that doesn't come by very often. And I love it. I'm either going to get hate from people for that comment, or they're going to go, oh my god, you're so right, now I can never listen to it exactly, now I can never listen to it the same way. And for those people, I'm very sorry. Something that I'm loving too, and sorry, before we continue on here, for some reason my computer is not pausing when I'm clicking, but that's alright. Something that's been really interesting so far as well is the arrangement of the music. I have been really loving hearing the different sort of like styles and drum beats and that sort of thing. And I am an absolute metal head at heart, and there's been some really interesting sort of like beats that cross over a little bit into that world as well, and it's really interesting because there's a lot here that you could adapt into different styles of music, and it would be very, very interesting. Anyway, food for thought. Brilliant falsetto. Oh. Okay, sorry. No. I gotta go back here. I wanna break up some voices here. First of all, great head voice control or falsetto. There is something so brilliant about all of the people that have done any form of belting in this video so far, where they have been able to sing it with good technique, but also make it sound almost like a plea or like a yell, like they're yelling at somebody. That is something that is really cool. Now, I want to focus on this gentleman's tone. Have a listen to this. There's something so unique about that, and like I can't put my finger on what it is. And I think what it is, I think what it is the placement of that voice. So usually I talk about, a lot of vocalists will sing very forward, and that sound kind of resonates more in the front of the mouth. There's those that sing kind of midway as well, and then there's those that have that more open back of the throat sort of sound. His is a little bit different, where it's almost up here, and I don't mean that as it sounds nasally, because it doesn't. It actively isn't like a nasal sound. Maybe it is a little nasally, because that's what would happen if that sound is coming from there, right? Da 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 da. Interesting. I've never heard actively somebody choose to, like, aim their voice into that part before. And don't get me wrong, a lot of that is natural, and a lot of people do sing that naturally. Like, my singing teacher was very, he used this method called the speech sing method, and the philosophy of it is basically, and this is a very rudimentary explanation, is that you shouldn't be putting more effort into singing as you do talking. And by that, it kind of more refers to the throat and all of that. So, like, if you're kind of muscling up and adding that extra work to get that sound out, then that's not necessarily the greatest thing to do in terms of maintenance of the voice. Whereas in classical music, what I've been, like, I've spent a large portion of my life learning and performing, they kind of teach to put that sound at the back of the mouth there and almost like open up that kind of cavernous area of your throat so that it sounds more like this, where it's more resonant and more open. But it's definitely not what you would call the most natural sound. So I feel like having that placement there is not so much an active, this is where I'm putting it, but more of nature taking its course of, I'm just going to sing, and where that placement is, that placement is. I'm absolutely speculating, but that's where my thought process goes on it. And I'd love to know if I'm right on that or not. Because it's such unusual placement, but it really works for this gentleman. And I can imagine that a lot of people that would do it, it wouldn't work for. It doesn't work for me. I don't like the sound of my voice when I do it, but it works for this guy. Wonderful. Nice high note. Wonderful.
I know you get deja vu. 너와 눈이 마주친 순간 멈출 수가 없진 않아. 끝이 없는 갈증을 느껴. 너에게 deja vu.
I love the vibe of this song. So something that baffles quite a few people that I speak to, right? I really like reggae music. I really like reggae music. There is something so enticing about that sort of like heavy beat that almost forces you to move along with it, right? And I feel that reggae and funk are a very interesting thing. So something that my friends and I would do back in school, all my muso friends, my musician friends, we would play this game called You Groove, You Lose. And what we would do is find music that you couldn't help but to groove to. So the whole idea was we would, like, on our phones, we would start playing a song, we'd yell, "You groove, you lose," and everyone has to stop moving. And then they have to go with, they have to, like, just kind of just not groove with the song, and if they groove, they're out, they lose, right? And it was super fun. We had a lot of fun doing it, and the things that would always win, the things that would get everybody out, were funk and reggae music, because it is just, it's one of those things that you just can't help but do it, but move to. This has a very reggae-inspired beat to it, and it is so interesting to hear that reggae beat, that reggae styling, with that more poppy overlay of sound. It works really well in an unusual sort of way that tends to not work a lot of the time, but they've done a really good job here. Even the phrasing. That beat.
네 숨이 내게 닿는다 내 숨도 내게 닿을까
내 숨이 멎는다 해도 다음 꿈에서라도 find you in my heart
너는 임해진 순간 멈출 수가 없지 끝이 없는 갈증을 느껴 No you get deja vu Oh deja vu 미쳐가 I want you so bad oh
I love this.
착각인지 병인지 혼란스럽지 내 맘이 널 원하는 거 본능인 거야 Get deja vu
Okay. So far, that's probably my favorite song, and it's not like, and it's not because of like impressive vocals or anything like that. It's literally just the vibe, right? Like that I really want to move, and don't get me wrong, I hardly dance. I am not a good dancer. You do not want to see me dance. It is not a good time by any means. But there's such a vibe to that I just love. Love that. That's so cool.
Let's go Captain Let's go I got it back 판을 뒤집어 that's game one chance 바로 제가 mad day like that 찍고 강렬한 yes game no next 나를 따라 쉽게
I have to admit, this song is so far pretty good. My distraction comes from that bloody strobe light, and it seems that every Killing Voice video has some song that they do this with, and I hate it. I hate it when they do this strobing. I don't know if it's like a ADHD thing, an autistic thing, I don't know. But it destroys my brain, and I actively need to look away from it. Otherwise, I sit there looking at it like this. So, I'm just going to start this again, and I'm actually going to actively look away.
Yeah, let's get it now. Let's go, Captain. Let's go. I got it back. 판을 뒤집어 that's game one chance 바로 제가 mad day like that 찍고 강렬한 yes game no next 나를 따라 쉽게 지겨지겨워 지겨지겨도 지겨지겨저기 봐 new world 지겨지겨워 지겨지겨도 이제 지쳐 사라지는 emotion 정은 빛을 잃어
That, whatever that audio is in the background there, that like, that descending, I don't know if it's a voice or if it's like a woodwind instrument or like a brass instrument or something. I could be completely off, but I want to hear it again. It's so cool. It's, you know what? It's a synthesizer using the pitch shift. Duh. That adds, it's such a simple thing, but it adds so much, like, atmosphere to this song, and it is interesting. Ooh, who did that note there? I need to look at this one. Oh, this is the gentleman that had the voice forward this time, but it's not. It's like really high up in the palette, but like kind of mid mouth. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. So maybe it was a purposeful decision last time. Not sure. Amazing note there. Alright, looks like the thing's gone. Awesome. Okay, so something that is very interesting there. Like, sorry, my brain went on a completely different tangent and just kind of pooped itself for a moment. But because I was going to say one thing and then it's completely gone now. There is something so powerful about that. That is another one. I would love to see how that song goes off live. Because that would be sick.
한국은 에이티즈의 귀여운 뽀짝한 매력을 느낄 수 있는 이터널 선샤인입니다. 그럼 지금 시작합니다.
단 하나의 기억 남길 수 있다면 넌 어떤 순간을 기억하고 싶니 난 하나의 기억.
Also, I'd like to point out, I haven't spoken much about this gentleman's voice, and I don't really know what the reason is for that, but there's something very interesting. So, something that I'm loving about this gentleman's voice, right, is the fact that throughout all of this, he's been able to, like, vocally chameleon himself into whatever is needed, whether it be, like, a belt or this really nice lower tone that's supposed to be more, like, emotional and heartfelt. This guy's got some real control, you know? Like, it's very interesting. Ooh. No, harmony work. I want that again. I love it. This man has annoyed me now. Because the whole time I'm hearing him do this like harsh vocal, and now he comes out with one of the most purest tones I've ever heard. That is beautiful. I was joking about hating him. That's brilliant. It's so nice when you do get to see like multiple facets of a person's voice. I really like it.
Alright, turn it on, let's make it louder. Can't stop the feeling. 찬란하게 반짝임을 느낀 순간. Don't stop believing. 영원보다 멀리 기억하고 싶어.
Sorry, he said the words "don't stop believing." My brain automatically went to Journey. But let's continue.
sunshine.
I love it. That was great.
찾아 헤매던 그곳은 날 듯한 흐린 신기루 꿈속의 dreamer 두려움과 환희의 바다. I saw it floated in my dream today. I'm sure that we will find someday. 흐릿한 잔상을 쫓아가며 앨범만의 시그를 가는 sketchman. 모두의 눈에도 I'm fine. 주물다고 해도 I stay calm. 존재 자체가 없는 세계라면 I'm making close to alright. Tell me that you're no more. Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I need to hear that line again.
I'm making close to alright. Tell me that you're no more. Yeah.
No more. That's interesting. You know, there's another voice that attacks notes that same way and with that same placement. What's his bloody name? Michael Bolton, I'm sure. I'm sure it's Michael Bolton that does it. Let me hang on. Okay, all right. So, listen to this, right? This is what I'm talking about. It is a very similar placement of the voice. Have a listen. That line is so similar to how this gentleman tackles that.
Tell me that you're no more. Yeah.
It's that mid-top placement. That's so interesting.
멈추지 않아 절대. Oh, every day, every night, here we go, go, go. Every day, every night, here we go, go, go. Every day, every night, let us go, go, go. 꿈이란 모두가 비웃어도 멈출 순 없어 난 내게 진실을 끄고.
Awesome.
We can touch Utopia.
Oh, damn. Hang on.
내게 진실을 끄고.
The interesting thing for me is the precision of those notes, because with no vibrato, with no external influences, that every note that he hit in that was kind of crazy and almost robotic in precision. It's so straight on. Have a listen to that again. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's so weird, and I love it. Because usually a voice would have some form of vibrato, some form of almost waver to it, but it's like pinpoint precision. Hang on. One more time. Interesting. Vocal chameleon, man.
자, 그러면 좀 더 부들부들하게
Can just do everything.
야들야들하게 연기에
아직 난 어린 걸지 몰라. 까만 밤 하늘을 맴돌아. 조급함이 만들어 놓은 난 기르는 노래를 들어. 떨어지는 waterfall 끝이 없는 freefall
거친 바람에 닫힌 맘에
세상은 내게 추락만을 택하라는 듯 끝없는 어둠만 이 끝에 우린 어디로 어떤 모습으로 무엇이 되야만 하나 단지 난 겨우 나이기도 벅찬 나인데 듣고 있나요 누군가 그저 안아줄 순 없나 우린 어디로
Brilliant. So we're 2/3 of the way in, and that voice still has not wavered. The stamina of this guy has is brilliant.
난 줄기별을 따라와 내 죽은 넘어져 부딪혀 포기할까 생각했지만 너 알아 너 적성과 집어쳐 부딪히고 치는 삶에서 도망가자 빨리
wow, 알긴 뭘 알아 내 고통은 딱 나만 알지 누가 알아 아픔 따윈 넘살이라고 불러 Mayday 마주본 세상이 난 괴로워
너무 yeah 이 모든 게 두렵기만 해 뺄수 없이 잡을 수 없기에 나를 보며 자신을 나타내
끝에 우린 어떨지 그 누구도 모를걸 수마심과 뒤틀림 떨림 So I gotta let it go So I gotta let it go Maybe we're living younger That's why we fever Maybe we're living younger That's why we fever So I gotta let it go
네 좋습니다. 다음 앨범은 저희 신곡 수록곡인데요. 곧 나올 미니 10집으로 컴백하니까요. 재밌게 들어주세요. 오케이, 샤라 투 케이크 패밀리.
Oh my god.
에이틴이 사랑해요.
Me too.
I've been searching for an empty box, that's what I need 내 방 서랍 속에 남긴 너의 기억이 비내리는 날처럼 만들어 여전히 이젠 보내야 할 것 같아 I'll never miss you I'll never miss you And I'll never
Wonderful.
miss you I'll never miss you
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot I was reacting for a second there. Like, there's a whole section there that I completely forgot what I was even here for. But this is just, it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful.
I gotta move on 가득하는 저 쌓인 먼지도 덜지 못해 난
Ooh. Sorry, I know I keep focusing on this guy a little bit now. But I just want to point out, sometimes, right, there's a lot of vocalists that... actually, you know what? Let me even take it a step further back here. There's a lot of cases where a lot of the time when it comes to especially male vocals, the goal is to sing higher, right? The goal is to increase that range to sing all of these impressive higher notes. So, and I'm not entirely sure why. I'm like, yes, it's impressive for guys to hit higher notes, but it's super important to have really solid lows because that kind of works as your foundation. And if you don't work on those lower notes, the higher notes kind of suffer. So what a lot of people will do is they'll kind of get to a particular point in height and they'll realize, oh, I can't really go any further. But if they work on their lower stuff, kind of solidify what they have as a base, usually you can get a few more notes there up the top as well because you've got that firm, like, footing, essentially. And what tends to happen a lot of the time is that a lot of people, a lot of guys, when they sing, they don't like to show off the lower stuff because they're like, no, I've got to show my impressive high stuff. This gentleman's voice is so beautiful in that lower tone. And I say this about a lot of people. There is a tone that there is a sweet spot for every male voice. And this is awesome. Here. There is something so tender, nice, and just almost like a warm hug when it comes to that sort of area of that guy's voice. It is wonderful. And same with this too here. It's wonderful. More people need to be doing this, and a lot more people need to be utilizing that lower register and those lower notes. It's so important.
시간 속에 묻고서 흘려보낼게 알아 나만 잡고 있던 당길 수 없는 시리였단 걸 말야 If you
Wow.
Everything behind, hope you come across something more than better. Feeling the same thing, I wish you better than our time together. Leave everything behind, hope you come across something more than better.
Oh, amazing.
아니 아직까지도 안 일어난 사람들이 있다고요?
Get up.
So, aside from this video, all that I had seen these guys do were I Can't Get You Out of My Head with Kylie Minogue and their Halloween song, Black Cat Nero, is it called, I think? And they are so, like, Can't Get You Out of My Head is a very standard, typical pop number. And I have to admit, they did an incredible job of, like, reinvigorating that song and doing just insane work. The Black Cat Nero, again, something completely different, right? In neither of those songs did we really get that kind of tenderness, that kind of vulnerability that they're showing in this. And, oh my God, it is beautiful. I love hearing when bands do this sort of thing. Even like in terms of bands like Metallica, right? Let's talk about heavy metal for a second. Some of the most memorable songs of a lot of like heavy metal bands tend to be the ones where they really pull it back. You've got Nightwish, right? So Nightwish have got incredible stuff, like Ghost Love Score is one of the ones that comes to most people's heads. One of their ballads that tends to come to a lot of people's heads is While Your Lips Are Still Red. Beautiful ballad that's done incredibly tenderly the entirety of the way through. You've got Camelot, right? So March of Mephisto is probably their best known song, and then you've got songs like The Haunting and Abandoned that bring all of that back, and they are the most impactful songs. Metallica, as I mentioned before, so Metallica, Enter Sandman is probably one of the most popular metal songs of all time, followed by Nothing Else Matters, which even Elton John has said is one of the greatest songs ever written. Which is huge, by the way, and I am not going to argue with Sir Elton. Not that I would want to in this case anyway. But it is so nice. Like, even in the case of a band that is going up on stage to do all these upbeat, up-tempo, brilliant numbers that really get the crowds going, for them to just strip it all back and just lay it bare on stage. Seriously, it's brilliant. I love it. And the way that these guys' voices adapt so nicely between the two sort of between all of the styles, rather, is so good.
아니 홍주 형이 얘기하는데
Get out.
빠르게 해.
Get out.
그렇지.
Bingo. Let's go.
I need to forget the truth. 막이 go in the show. 할 나라까지 go.
Did that gentleman stuff that? Did he come in too early? Hang on.
Get out.
그렇지.
Bingo. Let's go.
I need to forget the truth. 막이 go in
No.
the show.
Okay, I think he just laughed. And you know what? I love it. I love it when somebody gets up on stage and they make a blunder, because it makes you go, oh, you are human. And that is so important, because we have this sort of mentality these days that artists need to be perfect at every turn. Don't get me wrong, for the most part, yes, if you're going to see somebody perform live, you want to see them at their absolute best. But it's little moments like that it's like, this is brilliant. It's down to earth, and I find, in my personal case, it may not be the same with everybody, but it helps me relate to the people and the performer more when it shows these sorts of moments that they're human and they can just let out a chuckle, and it kind of, yes, it stuffed up his line a little bit, but he just picked it up and ran with it. Dude's professional.
여기도 미친 품. 아야야야 춤만 춰. 막 go in the show. 부르마 make them run. 여기가 미친 품. 가져와 내 트로피. 쉬는 거는 turban. Pull up the drop beat till when it pump it. 5대6 대 돌아봤냐. 사인 내 주간 round 세계 콤박에서 녹아. 펄럭이는 my green flag.
내버려둬 I don't mind.
골상 나오면 눈 감아.
Time is ticking 너무 빨라.
Can't you see I'm a warning sign.
이제 불렀더라 격하게 털어.
Ooh! Are you in mixed or are you in chest voice? The age-old question for me with this voice. Mixed, for sure. For sure. You've got to be in mixed for that. There is no way that's a chest belt. And was that an octave jump too? Between that line before? Hang on. Yeah, it was. Okay.
네, 다음은 미니 10집 앨범 타이틀곡 워크입니다. 다들 적게 일하고 돈 많이 버세요. 파이팅입니다. 파이팅!
Let's go. Gotta work.
Ooh!
Gotta work.
Clarinet?
Gotta make that money make first. Yes. Gotta work, so I make it burn. Give a whiplash when they see me earn. Gotta work.
Gotta make that money make purse. Gotta work so I make it.
There's a reason I'm laughing, and I'll explain in a moment.
Gotta work. Yo! 눈 뜨면 착착 준비되는 golden play 이제 막 도착 LA to Tokyo
차에 맞게 도는 시계 classic type 내가 움직이면 뒤따르지 Guerrillas 어디 가도 기어 나와 breaking news 하루 종일 내 노래가 나와 radio 그냥 들어온 춤을 추는 flamingo 허나 내 시간은 금이라서 adios 간섭해보니 stay 오로 24시간 다 부사는 중 관심 없지 난 침묵도 보는 no 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 no
Gotta work. Gotta make that money make first. Gotta work, so I make it burn.
There is something really intriguing about this.
Gotta work.
Gotta make that money make first. Gotta work, so I make it burn. Gotta get that goody get burned. Gotta work.
클락 틱틱 서둘러 금밥만 먼저 빠져줘 우린 지금 하늘 저 위로 You can find me where I stand Gonna make that money make purr Hey
Oh yeah.
Money make purr
Brilliant.
Gonna make that money make purr Oh yeah Give it up for money make purr
Put him up down. Hey.
Gonna make that money make
So the reason I laughed at the start of that, right, is I remember it was a couple of years ago now, there was a video that was released and it was this guy. The video was something, it was titled along the lines of how to make a popular like dance song. And it started with find an instrument that you have the absolute rudimentary knowledge on, play like 4 or 5 notes with that instrument, and then layer on the beats and any accompanying music like pianos, all that sort of thing. And that gave me such that similar vibe here, that it was like a very simple either I don't know if it was a clarinet, a bassoon, or even a soprano sax. I'm not sure. I'm not very well versed with my like woodwind and brass enough that I can pinpoint exactly what that instrument was, but it was something along that sort of vein. And it was just that same thing of they played that, they repeated that sort of 5-note sort of section, added that beat, and it was just very funny in my own head. You guys might not think it was funny, but if you saw the video, maybe you would. But I have to actually say too, because I'm not saying that this was incredibly simple and just followed any form of formula and to make that seem any form of like negative comment. The reason that I'm bringing it up is actually because of the songs that they've done so far, this is absolutely the most simple of what they've done. Very much a standard kind of dance track that is easily digestible, easily accessible, and even so, they decided to go above and beyond, adding, you know, that higher vocalized part at the start, not at the start, over the top of everything. There's something to be said for being able to have a song like that, especially in the case of, like, if you're going to perform it live. The way that performances tend to go, right? They come out hard and fast with, you know, big, well-known numbers that get the crowd pumping. Up until about the middle of the show, they start doing a little bit more ballady type stuff. Now, obviously, this might not be the case in this group's repertoire, right? This is just usually a generalization of what tends to happen. But then they kick it back up again, and then they might do a couple of slower numbers near the end, but then they finish off with an absolute bang, and usually an encore, which is usually one of their more popular numbers, or a number that hasn't actually been released yet, or something along those lines. But it is really important to have those really simple songs, not only for the sake of giving the audience a breather, but also the performers on stage as well. It is really, it's really interesting looking at the psychology of it all, because it is, the psychology of it all is to understand that breaks are super important. You got to make sure you've got room to sufficiently let people breathe. It's like wine, you aerate it before you drink it, right? You come out hard and fast, you let them, and then at some point, you let the audience just soak in what's going on, and then you bring them back with all that energy and stuff, because otherwise people are just going to leave exhausted. So it's really important to have those sorts of simple songs, but even so, it's still brilliantly musically, and it's great.
지금까지 에이티즈였습니다. 둘, 셋.
에피소드 감사합니다.
안녕.
Thank you. What up?
Oh, are you encoring? Please encore.
아니 우리 에이티즈인데 빠뜨린 곡이 하나 있네.
뭐지? 왜?
한국의 멋을 알려드려야 될 거 아니야.
그거.
음악 주세요. 음악 주세요.
하고 해야지. 빨리 하자.
음악 주세요.
Hey, how you feeling out there?
yeah.
Ateez present.
Go in the mud, 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 go in the mud.
이게 바로 무신기라.
Oh, I love that.
아따고만 해라 너희들은 뭐 알고 와나 부질없다 건들 거틀려 먹은 보다니 빈수라를 골로 열어놔다 그래 고사먹지 저거 지표해 인사는 90도
Yes sir.
내려 내려 발걸음은 나 똥
우린 뜨겁게 살아 난 누구보다도 험블한 카이네 신념을 지켜 누구든지 거위 모셔 자세나게 빛은 keep it up
now.
이런 게 바로 무신기라.
Come on class
자 세계 들어타 우리 봐 에이티즈 파워
Brilliant.
이런 게 바로 딩고 킬링 보이스입니다.
Awesome.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
That's cool. That's very cool. All right, I will head on over to final thoughts, and we shall discuss. All right, Ateez, Ateez killing voice. Ateez, God. Ateez killing voice video now done. So I'm very glad to say this was really cool, and the people that have been pushing for it for weeks. I hope I didn't annoy you by putting it off a little bit, but over the last couple of weeks I had a few things that I wanted to really look at, including obviously the Dan Vasc week for his birthday and then Halloween week as well. And this one kind of didn't fit into either of those things because, well, frankly, Dan Vasc isn't in it, and it's not really Halloween based. Something before I kind of give a wrap up on what I thought of the thing as a whole. That last song, I absolutely love that melodic choice, that kind of almost like Egyptian style melody line in the synthesizer. My only gripe is that I'm a sensory person when it comes to certain things. For me, sensory-wise, whatever sound they had on that synthesizer doing that took me out of it a tiny little bit. It's because of the absolute harshness of that sound. And I understand people will not agree with me on that people will absolutely disagree with me on that, and it is not a case of me saying they shouldn't have used that sound. Just a personal thing of, didn't work for me, that synthesizer sound choice. But overall, when it comes to this band, I love it. I think they are great. And it's interesting going through these because originally my kind of idea on K-pop was the same as what a lot of other people do. And a lot of other people kind of stop and think that all K-pop is the same, that it is just boy bands doing boy band things, and it's so not true. Especially the last few videos that I have looked at when it comes to the kind of K-pop space, it's interesting how many people kind of agree. K-pop itself is not the genre, K-pop is the industry, and then they tend to kind of branch off into other genres depending on the band and kind of what stuff they like to do. Again, I like the fact that their music was incredibly varied. I think that that is so important, especially in the case of these groups. If they were to go off now and decide, I'm going to do a solo album, and which they probably have already done, and I just haven't seen or know about it, but the people that are going over from being a fan of them in the band already go in there with the mentality of things are going to be different and it's going to be accepted more than, again, how my example was at the start of this video, where in the case of a lot of like 90s boy bands and that sort of thing, they would release continually the same music that was very much kind of cut and dried. It was, sorry, not cut and dried, it was cookie cutter, basically, music, very similar to what we have now. But, you know, we don't need to talk about that so much. It was very cookie cutter pop songs at the time, and then when they broke away to do their own thing, they released albums that were very different and very removed from what they would do as a group. And because of that, the new fans loved it, and that was fine, but the fans of the group that they'd fallen in love with hated it because it's not built for them, and they hadn't, like, created that audience that is accepting of a vast majority of music. They wrote for a specific audience, and then they wrote for a specific different audience, so the album gets panned. It's a massive loop. Hardly any of them ever released another solo album again, except in rare cases, you know, like Justin Timberlake, for instance, where he maintained a very good and healthy solo career. And plus as well, I couldn't imagine going to one of those 90s boy bands concerts. Really, I couldn't. Because, again, all the same, I'd be bored by the end of it, because you'd be thinking, didn't they play this earlier? But with this, it's so different. Every bit of this, the entire 26 minutes? Yeah, 26 minutes that I watched of this, everything was different. And not only that, each of their voices is so incredibly unique and have their own beauty and style, and stylistic choices that go along with it. You can't help but be entirely enraptured and intrigued by what is happening. Like, we had our belter, who I was looking at, and I mentioned kind of early on to midway into the video that I was looking specifically for whether or not he had the stamina at the end. He did. Absolutely he did. Which shows to me the man has got incredibly good technique, because it's really important. Like, it's okay to be able to go and sing, right? And to sing a couple of notes really well, like once or twice. But over the course of a concert, like, say, for instance, you can sing what's the song? Let's say you can sing Mariah Carey's Hero, right? But you can only sing it once. Then you've got to take like a couple of days before you can actually get back into it and perform it again. Then you're kind of screwed if you get asked, hey, I need you to perform a show. There's 2 shows running, so you got to do one Friday night, you got to do one Saturday night. Hero needs to be part of the set list because that's your draw card. You just can't do it, right? Like, it would just, there's no point. It's super important for a lot of professionals to be able to maintain that voice over long periods of time. I'm glad that I'm seeing that these guys, not just these guys, but a lot of the K-pop groups have that mentality of, look, we need to be able to do it, but we also need to maintain it. It's super, super important. And the reason that I harp on so much about this kind of philosophy where you've got to find a way to use it so that you won't lose it. When I was growing up, there are a lot of people that would go to singing teachers that were around me, and those particular singing teachers weren't good. They were pretty much just like, they knew the basics and were able to pass on the basics. In a couple of cases, they had some really good results early on in their career. So what they decided was, oh, okay, this works. So clearly this must work for everybody, and it absolutely does not, because every voice is different. Everyone needs a catered thing. But they kind of just went, cool, I'll take your money and I'll teach you this exact program. And I saw so many people that started with incredible voices, but because it wasn't a specific style of voice, in this particular case, those kind of like Celine Dion's, Mariah Carey's, and that sort of thing, these voices would get kind of left to just kind of die out, and then they would just actively leave because either people didn't care about that style of singing, didn't want to cater to that style of singing and really nurture it, or because they tried to do the stuff that their voices were not suited for, they lost their voices entirely. Now, it's really bad just how many people had that happen. I saw it happen. I was nearly one of them. I'm not kidding. There was a point where after my voice had broken that there was a gap between my head voice and my chest voice that I had to work real hard to get back to overlap again so that I could actually sing certain things. It was genuinely, I would have to stop at a particular point, and then in order to go into head voice, I was skipping this like chunk of notes that I physically couldn't hit no matter what register I was in. So this is the thing. The reason I've gone on this tangent, right? This was phenomenal. If you or anybody you know is actively looking for singing lessons, the biggest advice that I can give is find a teacher that caters each program to the singer. It is so important. So very important. Because you can hear in this case, in the case of Ateez, every one of their voices are incredibly different, and they have been nurtured in different ways, to the point where, like, as a vocal coach, would I have put these voices together? Probably not, because they are so incredibly different, and you would think to put them in different areas, but they work really, really well together. But that's the point. So then you write extra songs that fit these different styles, and it's a huge cycle. And it just keeps looping around, and I know that I am looping back around a little bit, so I will let you guys know that this will be it for today, because as it is, I think I've recorded for about an hour and a half at this point. Yes, okay, very close to. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry that this one took so long. Like or favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe to all that sort of thing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what we did here today, you can join us over on Patreon for as little as $3 Australian per month. By doing so, you will join the absolutely wonderful people here. Also, if you're into gaming, I have a gaming channel, Griever Gaming, which you'll find the links to both the Patreon and Griever Gaming in the description below. Bye for now.